Hello, everybody. I'm Linda Duchin. I'm the Vice President of Marketing for Power Steering Software. I want to welcome you all to today's webcast and thank you for joining us today. Bob Crescenzi of NewPage has a terrific presentation lined up for us with some great Lean Six Sigma insights and very impressive results. Before I turn it over to Bob, I just wanted to briefly introduce you to Power Steering Software. We're the leading project and portfolio management software used by companies like NewPage to manage their Lean Six Sigma deployments, and we're also used to manage other portfolios in IT or new product development as well as project management offices. Our software is available on demand or as software as service, and you can see that many of the companies who use Power Steering are probably companies that you recognize. With that, I'd like to introduce Bob. He is the Vice President of Lean Six Sigma for NewPage, where he's responsible for implementing Lean Six Sigma throughout the company with the goal of achieving dramatic improvements in customer satisfaction, quality, and productivity. Prior to joining NewPage, Bob was President of Business Excellence Leaders, a Lean Six Sigma consulting company. He also worked as Vice President of Business Excellence at Standard Register Corporation, leading the deployment of Lean Six Sigma across the company. Prior to those roles, he held positions at Compaq Computer Corporation, the RAND Corporation, and General Electric. Bob has a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering from Rutgers University, and he attended the leadership program at Harvard Business School. He's also served for 6 years as a senior examiner for the Malcolm Baldrige National Quality Award and 2 years as a judge for the International Benchmark Clearinghouse. He is currently a member of the Operation Management Advisory Council for the University of Dayton. And in case you happen to have missed it, Bob's Lean Six Sigma deployment was featured on iSixSigma magazine just about a month ago. Very impressive deployment. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Bob.
Good morning and good afternoon, depending on where you're at, to everyone. Thank you, Linda, for the nice introduction. I'm going to go through a series of slides. Without any feedback, it'll be difficult to see if you are catching the information, but I'll do my best. The agenda I'm going to follow is we're going to cover the deployment strategy. The reason why we're doing that is NewPage is as classical a top-down deployment as you'll ever see. We have our President and Chief Operating Officer who came out of the General Electric mold, a firm believer of Six Sigma and a tremendous champion and support. We're also going to talk about a lot of the cultural issues of driving change in a 100-plus-year-old industry and how we built the infrastructure and the tools and the coaching and mentoring to make this a very successful deployment in a very short time. NewPage, for those of you who don't know it, is the largest producer of coated papers. We service, on this slide you'll see a whole variety of magazine and catalog and direct mail customers. You'll see the list of it. And we're really what we call in the printing infrastructure business. The magazines you read, a lot of the books that you see are all done on NewPage paper. NewPage, for those of you who have never seen a paper mill, we are one of the highest 98% integrated paper mills. That means that we take trees, we grind them into pulp, and turn that into paper in very large manufacturing operations we call paper mills. We have 10 of them, 7,800 highly skilled employees, and we're the #1 North American producer of coated papers. We are headquartered in Miamisburg, Ohio, and even though our industry and NewPage, many of our mills are 100 years plus old, we're really only a 4-year-old company. We were formed in May of 2005 from an acquisition made from the Mead Westvaco Papers Group. Actually, just recently in December of 2007, we merged with our largest competitor, Stora Enso North America, and we grew from a $2 billion business to a $4 billion business. And so we have a very complex culture. We're actually the combination of 7 companies, which are listed on here: Mead, Westvaco, Boise Cascade, Consolidated Papers, Lake Superior Paper, Repap, and Store. And obviously having that many cultures, that many companies, makes it challenging for launching Lean Six Sigma. So what were some of the cultures we inherited? Well, there was a common theme amongst all of the paper mills. Very committed, highly energized workforce. They are unionized in most cases, and they tend to be the highest paying jobs in the rural areas that these mills are located. NewPage has very strong individual talent, and they viewed paper making quite often as an art versus a science, where a lot of decision making is based on experience and trial and error versus using a lot of the fact-based data decision tools that Six Sigma brought in. And at one time, each of the mills was viewed as a kingdom. They were standalone profit centers, and so sharing best practices across the mills was not something that was commonplace. And then there were a couple of unique cultures to the larger corporations. Mead has a team consensus decision-making process. And so you would get lots of buy-in and agreement when you had a decision, but it wasn't necessarily the best decision. Westvaco has a very family type of culture. And so it's kind of one for all and all for one, which has its benefits. But in many cases, when it came to rewarding top performers, there was no differentiation made between people. And then the CINA, which was the Consolidation of Storage and Solid Paper, really was very top-down driven, where leadership made decision and everyone else kind of followed what was being done.